Michigan Football Report is sponsored by Mint Mobile, nationwide calling, data, cell phone coverage as low as $15 a month. Make sure you go to mintmobile.com/chatsports. Don't pay the big time bucks for those legacy national carriers. Get going with Mint Mobile. I made the change. I've got the iPhone 14, all that good stuff, and I'm saving hundreds with Mint Mobile. All right. We're going to jump into Michigan football grades. I've watched the film. I've watched the Big Ten in 60, all that thing, multiple times here since Saturday's game, 59-0 over UConn. And I'm ready to give some grades. But what I want from you guys, if you're a Michigan football fan, you're excited, look, Michigan fans have been through a lot, right? And when things are going good, let's make sure the down stuff is always down, right? People are always hating on the team, they're losing, hating on Harbaugh, etc. Things are going good. So let's get some positivity. Type Go Blue down in the comments. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Type Go Blue, or just give me your thoughts on the season so far. Let me know how you are thinking. Let's dive into it, folks. We have got Michigan football grades. I'm going to dive into the offense, the defense, each position, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, offensive line, etc., defensive line, secondary, yada, yada, yada. But I want to start with the coaching staff and the head coach, Jim Harbaugh, in his 8th season as Wolverines head coach. I'm going to give him an A, right? How could you give him anything less than an A? There were some things throughout the game. You got your quarterback, backup quarterback, Cade McNamara, injured. There were probably some points left on the board from time to time. I don't necessarily think that the running game or the passing game was excellent, but you got a shutout win. Let me give him an A. Okay, there was nothing special, other than maybe the special teams is special with a punt block and a punt return for a touchdown. But I am giving Jim Harbaugh an A for this one. But I want to know from you guys. Let me know down in the comments. Give me your grade for Michigan football head coach Jim Harbaugh versus UConn on Saturday night. A, B, C, D, or F. I gave him an A, and you might get hit with a YouTube ad break at this point in the video. So we make it really easy for you guys. Scroll down in the comments. I will pin this comment beneath the video. And so if an ad plays here, scroll down, give me your grade, scroll back up. We will continue with today's show. How about the co-offensive coordinator duo of Sherrone Moore and Matt Weiss? They're getting a B+ from me here on today's show. Why are they getting a B+? Well, J.J. McCarthy didn't throw a touchdown pass, and the running game was okay, but not great. And I probably thought they left a few points on the board in the first half in this one. And Sherrone Moore in general, I'll talk about more with the offensive line. I don't necessarily think that he has done a good job being the primary offensive coordinator and also the offensive line coach. Last year, he moved from tight ends to offensive line, best offensive line in the country. There are a few warts on this offensive line that we haven't really talked about that I will here in a few moments. I kind of think that Sherrone Moore being, his role is pulling him in different directions, and I think the offensive line in some ways is suffering from it. And you're going to need him to be, and that offensive line to be clicking on all cylinders once you get into October, once you get into November, and ideally into a postseason with Michigan having a shot at bigger things. And right now, it's just not quite there. Trente Jones and some others just making a few interesting plays. How about Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator from the Ravens, from Vanderbilt? A+++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++ done it. Terrible offenses, terrible games so far, but he has given up 0 points so far with his first team defense through 3 games. That's just great to see. And how could I give him anything other than an A++++? We'll break down the offense. We will break down the defense here in a second. It is the Michigan Football Report from Chat Sports. I'm going to go through every single position from quarterback down to the secondary over the next 6 to 8 minutes. Let you guys know what I'm thinking about them after I've seen the film from the Big Ten 60 and some of the behind the scenes stuff, looking at what guys are making plays on what particular situation throughout the game. So stick around for that. Before we do, let me tell you about Mint Mobile, today's presenting sponsor here on the Michigan Football Report. Start saving today. mintmobile.com/chatsports. We can get unlimited talk and text, high-speed data, a mobile hotspot included in your plan, all starting as low as $15 a month. Folks, I made the switch to Mint Mobile. I thought it was going to be a hassle, right? We start working with them. They say, hey, switch over. I've been spending hundreds a month on a national carrier for years, right? One of the legacy ones. We all know who they are. Had an iPhone. Oh, can you even get with that? It was super easy, right? I took my phone. I poured my exact number over to Mint Mobile. I used their eSIM card, so I didn't have to wait for anything in the mail. I was up and running with Mint Mobile in like 10, 15 minutes. And it was super easy. I recommend you do the same. You've seen Mint Mobile out there. Actor Ryan Reynolds is the company owner, and they are saving you all kinds of money. They don't have big stores. They don't have salespeople that they need to pay to save money. They pass to spend money. They pass all that savings on to you. MintMobile.com/chatsports. Get going with them. If you're trying to save money, if inflation's hitting you, Mint Mobile is where you can save hundreds. So go down MintMobile.com/chatsports. Link in the comment and the description of today's video. Grades on offense for this team. I'm giving J.J. McCarthy a B+. What he's done so far this year is damn impressive, okay? He has had 3 straight games where he's almost completed every pass he's thrown. Against UConn on Saturday, 15 of 18, 214 yards. Had 2 of his passes go to receivers who ran and were tackled inside the 1-yard line, and Jim Harbaugh and the staff didn't give him a chance to score a touchdown or roll out or even run the ball with a quarterback sneak. 214 yards. He's got 4 incompletions on the year, 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air, 1 through the road, or I'm sorry, 1 on the ground. No interceptions so far this year. So having a really good season. I can't give him anything more than a B+ though because of no touchdown passes. Somebody I can give an A to is Blake Corum and the running backs. I'm just going to base this grade really on Blake Corum's performance. 5 touchdowns. Was the beneficiary of Michigan being inside the 1-yard line, being inside the 5-yard line quite a few times on passes, and then them giving it to Blake Corum to get in the end zone. So far this year, 34 carries, 235 yards, and 7, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 touchdowns for Blake Corum. With Donovan Edwards out, he was the guy Michigan went to inside the 5-yard line pretty much the entire game. Had a couple of really nice runs, had a cutback in that game that almost broke my ankles just watching it. So I'm giving him an A, the running backs an A, for that performance, 5 touchdowns on Saturday. Do you guys still want daily videos? I'm always interested in kind of taking the pulse of the crowd. If you want daily videos, we got to continue to increase subscribers. So we're a metrics-based business, and if new subscribers are growing on a week-to-week basis, we get more resources here at the company. We get more ad deals. We can do more things. If not, though, of course, then you got to make cuts, etc. So if you want more videos and you haven't subscribed yet, now is the time because we're in football season, and everything we get to do the rest of this year and next year is based on a lot of the audience and the subscribers we get. So go ahead, click the subscribe button. What's the harm, right? Just do it. If you're a Michigan fan, hell, if you're a Notre Dame fan, do it too. Ohio State fan, whatever. Bigger numbers gets us to grow this show. Wide receivers, I'm giving an A-. Through the first 2 games, the wide receiver group was they had some issues, right? Ronnie Bell, Cornelius Johnson, some drops in that opener. Ronnie Bell, a drop in the second game, then a catch and a fumble in the second game. But they did pretty good this past week, right? They didn't really have a ton of things that went wrong. And the offensive passing game did better than the running game for the most part, although the running game got all the end zone trips, all the touchdowns with Blake Corum. The passing game was pretty spot on. The running backs made some nice plays. There was one play that I really like to see early on in the game. Ronnie Bell came from the right side of the screen to the left, kind of stopped behind the guard, and then went right back to the right. JJ rolled out to the right, hit him. Ronnie Bell kind of took it down to the 1-yard line, and it was an exciting play. You get that. You add it with Cornelius Johnson and some others making some plays, and A.J. Henning, although not all of his plays were from a wide receiver perspective or even anything the impact. He had a punt return touchdown. He had a reverse from that orbit motion when he goes around the quarterback, and then he actually took a snap from the running back position, which we speculated and Michigan speculated in the offseason. The one thing I'm worried about or interested about the wide receivers is where is Andrell Anthony? Really has made no impact this year. I thought he potentially could be Michigan's number 1 guy as we were at this point in the season, but as of yet, no Andrell Anthony from that wide receiver group. Offensive line gets my worst grade of the week. I'm giving them a C. Had this been against a Maryland or a Penn State or an Indiana or a team that could have even give a game against Michigan, they might have gotten a D or an F because They made J.J. McCarthy scramble a few times, but I didn't think it was necessary because the guy whiffed and missed something. Trente Jones is struggling. He was the unproven commodity on this offensive line, and they got Cade McNamara hurt, right? Cade McNamara, Michigan's starting quarterback in the opener, starting quarterback last year in 2021, Big Ten championship quarterback. He is injured. He will miss the Maryland game. He'll likely miss another week after that, potentially more. And why is that? Because he stepped up in the pocket thinking he would have coverage from his offensive line, keeping the defensive line back. And Trente Jones and some others have missed on several plays this year. In the past game, I kind of think it was the worst game they've had so far this year. So I am going to go ahead and give that offensive line a C. Trente Jones. I learned my lesson from the perspective of the chair I'm sitting in. Don't be too critical of guys because it can come back and haunt you, right? I was the biggest critic of John Running. I even call him Little John Running because his dad, Big John, Little John the Rapper. I was very critical on him in 2018. Said he shouldn't be starting. He should be a walk and all that stuff. He turned out to get drafted by the NFL, right? So I was eating some crow on that one. Trente Jones had a really tough year so far in his first year starting at Michigan after 3 years as a backup. Sherrone and the rest of the staff need to get with him. He has got to clean up his issues that we've seen so far. Really hasn't really had a great game so far this year. Tight ends B. I don't know where the tight ends are at in this offense. They are playing a ton of guys, right? Eric All had a nice little catch there. He got down, he was one of those catches down inside of the 1 yard line. Max Bredeson, right? Ben Bredeson's brother. I saw him in early on, right? He's like the 6th tight end or something like that at this point. So they're playing a ton of tight ends. They're blocking well, but are they really making impactful plays when it comes to like scoring touchdowns, etc.? We'll see how that progresses. I'm just giving them a B because they didn't do anything terrible, made a couple plays, but didn't really make a difference in the win or loss versus UConn. Michigan will defend their 2021 Big Ten title by trying to win it again here in 2022 this Saturday against Maryland. So go down in the comments. Let me know what you think is going to happen. Predict the score. I'm going to allow myself to change the score. I haven't done a ton of scouting on Maryland, of course. We're sitting here on Monday, still 5 days to the game. I'm just going to make a gut prediction, 45-17 Michigan, and I'll revise that come up Thursday or Friday with a final score prediction. But before we jump into the defense, let's take a look at the stats again, what UConn did, what Michigan did. Let's focus on UConn here. 110 yards of total offense in this game. I say it almost laughing because it's tough not to laugh when the team has 24 yards rushing. One turnover early on. They fumbled the ball, exchange from the quarterback and the running back. The defensive line for Michigan, what do they do in this one? A little bit here, a little bit there. The defensive stats for this team have regressed, right? 7 sacks in the opener, 1 sack against Hawaii, but no sacks this past week. The only really game-impacting play was the fumble that really wasn't caused by any Michigan players in particular. So I'm going to give the defensive line a B. I think we may have overhyped him. I certainly may have overhyped him throughout the first week or two of the season, and that's where we're at. I'm giving them a B. Linebackers, though, do get an A. Seen enough of the plays. I think Junior Colson, even though he hasn't made necessarily a game-changing play or anything like that, when you consider all 3 games and the fact that the offensive line or the first team defense hasn't played throughout the entire game, they're out of the game by the mid-second quarter, early third quarter. I would say Junior Colson is my player of the year so far on this Michigan football defense. I think about the defense, though. I think about the coaches, right? Jesse Mintner, the defensive coordinator, and Mike Elston coming over from Notre Dame, coaching the defensive line. They have proven to be great so far to kind of pair with the coaches that Michigan made changes on the year prior, okay? And the staff Michigan has, the changes made after 2020, paired with these guys, Mintner and Elston, I think Michigan's got one of the better staffs in all of college football right now. I do think they have the best staff in the Big Ten. So shout out to Jim Harbaugh for recognizing those guys. Minter coming over from Baltimore to Vanderbilt, recommendation from his brother, and Mike Elston, a Michigan alum who was with Notre Dame and Brian Kelly, for 10, 12 years, and Brian Kelly even before that to get him to come over to Michigan. All the while, Jim Harbaugh was potentially pursuing a job with the Raiders and then with the Vikings. I'm giving the secondary an A+. Mike Sainristil is turning out to be a very good player. He made quite a few game-changing plays on Saturday versus UConn, but when he gave up 24 yards passing, what can you really say, right? I don't even have to look at the film. I don't have to watch the game again. I just look at the stats. UConn may be terrible, but even terrible teams have made terrible quarterbacks have made Michigan defensive backs look bad over the last 10, 12, 20 years here or there. And UConn wasn't the case with Michigan on Saturday. The defensive backs, I saw Will Johnson a bunch. DJ Turner's just turning out to be a hell of a player. He's going to get drafted in the NFL. And Mike Sainristil, switching from wide receiver to defensive back, has turned out to be phenomenal. The secondary with their safeties, Rod Moore, McCarthy Page, the emergence of him, R.J. Morton, that starting role, haven't been tested at all so far this year, but they haven't really done anything to make you think that they are not going to be an awesome unit. So I'm giving them an A+. Another unit's getting an A+ is the special teams. How could you not give them an A+? Maybe an A+++. You've got the best kicker in college football, although he did miss like a 61-yarder in this one. But what do you expect from there? You've got a great punter, put a punt or two down inside the 10-yard line, and then blocking a punt, Caden Colasar, great play by him. AJ Henning, I think we saw the makings of what's going to become one of Michigan's better kick and punt returners in program history. Last year, in the first couple games this year, broke one for a touchdown. And it's not the first time he's ended up in the end zone. He's at a punt return for a touchdown this game. He's at a kick return for a touchdown against Maryland. And so he's one of the few players in Michigan football history that has had both of those. I think, folks, he could be starting to remind me of the next Steve Bredeson, one of Michigan's all-time great returners. Kicker, punter, blocking, returning. I love it. I love what I'm seeing. And shout out to Jay Harbaugh. We said this a couple weeks ago. High fives to Jay Harbaugh all around. He has really found his role as a special teams coordinator. Probably, honestly, he won the last year. He was the best special teams coordinator in all of college football. I think he could be there again this year with the production that Michigan is getting out of those units. All right, so that is the show for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back. We are going to dive into the injury rumors and some more what Michigan's going to do at the quarterback position. Andrew Anthony, you might want to stick around for that one on Tuesday, where they're going with some of the skill position players on our Michigan football rumors roundup coming up on Tuesday. So make sure you subscribe. Until I see you, though, Tuesday, go Blue.